session up is the top 5 MSP marketing mistakes and how to avoid them. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Taher Hamid. He started marketing intern at AllTek Services 7 years ago as a graduate student. After building the marketing foundation of the company, he was quickly promoted to marketing manager. He now serves as VP and manages its marketing, account management, and sales team. So Taher, take it away.
Thank you so much. I'm not sure how I'm going to follow up such an awesome presentation. I learned a lot. Thank you so much, Michael. Seriously, that was on point, and it's exactly the kind of stuff that I preach, and we're a really small business, so it's cool to see that. Appreciate everybody for spending 10 minutes with me on the top 5 MSP marketing mistakes and how to avoid them. Where's the clicker at? Oh, here it is. All right, cool. So let's get into it. My name is Taher Hamid, Vice President of AllTek Services. I'm also the president of a company called MSP Camp, which basically packages up our marketing campaigns that we've successfully run and put them on a membership site for MSPs. So that's my credentials for doing this presentation. So getting right into it, the number one mistake that MSPs do all the time is they focus on their service or the product instead of the person that they're selling to, exactly what Michael was alluding to. Just ask, okay, don't try and cram your service into the customer. Ask the customer how to sell to them. Here's 2 specific examples. When I first started, I was really engaged with HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. I was like, surely these doctors care about HIPAA, right? So I spent a ton of time and effort building a campaign to talk about HIPAA. Well, it turns out they didn't care, and I just wasted a lot of time and got no results. So if I would have asked them, what do they care about? Well, I got a busy office. I can't be down for a minute, so I could talk about internet failover. They care about that, right? So if I would have listened to the prospect before I built the campaign, I would have saved a lot of time and got a lot more results. Next example is VoIP. So when I first started, VoIP has all these cool benefits and features, and I want to communicate all of them because surely one is going to strike home. Well, it turns out my prospect, my marketing persona, got scared by that. They're like, oh, that's too complicated. They didn't want that. I asked them, well, what do you want? I want to be able to take my business phone with me wherever I go. Cool, we got an app for that. So I changed the communication to just be that, and it sold like crazy. So it's just listening to the person rather than just trying to sell your service. Here's another good example of that. One of our most successful marketing campaigns was a direct mail piece to IT directors. We sent them a Game Boy and a game-themed direct mail piece. They loved it, and it got a ton of leads. If I would have sent this exact same piece to a co-managed prospect that was the executive, the COO, CEO, it wouldn't have landed. Sure, they might have liked it, but it wouldn't convert as much as sending it to the IT director because I knew my marketing persona. All right, next up, number 2, bad content. Go look at your social media, go look at your website. If anything looks like this, delete it. Bad content not only doesn't help, it actively hurts your marketing because the algorithms show that the person viewing it doesn't care and they move on quickly. So it hurts you. It doesn't just help. I know why we do it, right? We're busy. So we take that stock photo, we add some text to it, and we post it on social media or our website. But that's hurting you. So don't use bad content, please. All right, next up. This happens all the time. It's probably happened to you, definitely happened to me early on. You give up before the results start coming in. In the MSP marketing space and a B2B space, it takes a lot of time and effort and consistency in your strategy before you start seeing results. It's not like business consumer where you run a campaign and you start getting leads and you're like, cool, that worked, instant gratification. It doesn't work like that in this space. Trust me, I've been in here for 7 years, grinding it out. It takes a lot of time and effort. Here's a great example of that. A friend of mine, his only marketing strategy, the only thing he does is a weekly tech tip email to his prospects every single week. Hasn't skipped a week in 6 years. He's added in the last 2 years $1 million in annual reoccurring revenue to his MSP. So you might think, cool, well, I'm going to start sending email marketing tech tips. But I talked to him recently. He said not one of those closed deals, not one, was on his list for less than 12 months. So if he would have quit at that 6-month mark or that 9-month mark and said, you know what, email marketing doesn't work, he would have been missing out on $1 million in reoccurring revenue. So you can't quit. You just got to keep going. Number 4, this happens, I guarantee this probably has happened to 80% of us in this room. We advertise before we build a marketing foundation. So we spend a crap load of money on advertising, don't get any results from it, and we say advertising doesn't work in the MSP space, which is incorrect. When you don't have good Google reviews, when you don't have a good website, when you don't have a good process to take that cold lead, which is what you're going to get from advertising, it's a pretty cold lead, and move them into a closed client. If you don't have those things in place, advertising is going to fail every single time, for sure. Pay-per-click, social media, whatever you're doing, it's going to fail because you don't have a good marketing foundation. So once you build a marketing foundation, then you'll start getting leads, you'll start getting more comfortable, understand how to close those deals, then you can add advertising on top of that to keep going, and it'll work, trust me. All right. Okay, and how do I build a marketing foundation? Taher, what does that even mean? Go to mspcamp.com, there's a free marketing checklist on here. This is all the stuff we do at AllTek Services. Take that and start doing it. And I promise you, you will have a nice, strong marketing foundation. All right, number 5. Got 4 minutes, cool. I was a little worried about the timing, but I think we're doing good. They outsource before they're ready. If there's one thing you get out of this presentation, one thing, it's to stop outsourcing your marketing. That sounds crazy, but hear me out here. If you actually take that checklist that I just talked about and you do it, it's going to take 10 to 20 hours per week to consistently do all the things. That's 40 to 80 hours a month. There is not a marketing agency on the planet that's going to spend that much time on your business, I guarantee it. But that's only a part-time person in-house, right? Here's another way to frame it. Do you have any managed clients that you spend 40 to 80 hours a month on? Any of them? Probably not, because I'm an MSP and we definitely don't do that. So we can't assume that we can pay some company $2,000 to $4,000 and they're going to dedicate that type of time to us because it wouldn't be profitable. So you get that part-time person, they're managing your marketing, right? They may not be doing the graphic design, they may not be doing the SEO, they may not be doing some of these facets you need to be doing, but they're managing it for you. So that's how you can offload some of your marketing without just hiring some marketing company that's not going to care about your business like you are. Because we tried outsourcing, we tried hiring salespeople, none of it worked because we didn't have a good marketing foundation to bring leads to the salespeople, and we just said, oh, it doesn't work in this space. But that's not true. All right, moving on. So those are the 5. So how do we avoid them? Number 1, get in the mind of your prospects. Before you create a piece of content, before you create a campaign, ask yourself, what are the actual problems, like Michael said? What are their problems? Don't overcomplicate this. Don't overcomplicate VoIP. Don't sell HIPAA when they don't care about HIPAA. Say, what do you want? They'll tell you how to sell to them, I promise. Number 2, focus on quality content. If you're putting bad content out there, it is hurting you. And it's not hard to think of good content. Take 15 minutes, just sitting in your car, driving back home after the Acronis event. Okay, what's a problem prospect said to me recently? How do I turn that into a nice motion graphic video, or an infographic, or a social media post? And you'll think of 10 things just on the drive. Number 3, get a marketing team. It could be an intern. They need college credit, totally free, and they get value out of it. Well, how do I train an intern? Go to mspcamp.com, totally free guides on how to do this. How do you recruit an intern? What does that intern do? Number 4, be okay with delayed satisfaction. I'm going to say that one again. Don't stop. If you have a good strategy, if you're doing all the things, just keep at it. I promise you. It took a year of me grinding it out and getting discouraged, almost quitting twice. And now we've added $3 million in annual recurring revenue in the last 5 years. That's not amazing, but we didn't do it through acquisition, and we didn't do it through advertising. We did it through good organic marketing. Okay. Number 5 is how to avoid it. Just don't rush into advertising. Build your foundation first. Start getting some inbound leads. And then you can move into advertising. Okay, so I got 50 seconds left, so I'm going to finish with a quick story. We went to Bangkok a few years ago. We went to the street with all the food vendors. And one of the lines, there was 20 different vendors there. One of the lines was massive, so I'm like, I got to get in that line. So I got to see what the fuss is about. So I get up, order my food, and I look up, and the lady is wearing a cowboy hat. Tried the food, it was good. Tried the other food, it was also good. There was nothing different except that lady was wearing a cowboy hat in Bangkok. So when we talk about differentiators and things that are unique, it doesn't even have to be anything crazy. Just find your cowboy hat. All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.